So I'm Tina B, and I'm up on the roof with really cool ideas. And I'm lucky enough to have a former professor, Dr. John Price from the University of Nebraska, Omaha, and he's passionate about the Loess Hills. And so I'd love for you to tell us, what is it, why should we care about the Loess Hills?
Well, first of all, from an ecological standpoint, they are a national treasure, an international treasure. There is no other place in the world that has Loess Hills to this depth, except China, which you may know, along the Yellow River, on the Spice Trail there. But those have been pretty well altered and changed, and this might be the only place in the world that has them in this kind of pristine state. So they're a true treasure of Iowa, and as a native Iowan, I feel very proud of them, very protective of them, even though I didn't know much about them growing up in central Iowa. I just on Ragbri, when I'd come out to western Iowa, I just remember being struck by the beauty of these hills and how different they were from anything I'd seen in the rest of the state. And it was only later that I learned to appreciate how unique they are, what a refuge they are for what remains of Iowa prairie, for instance. The majority of Iowa prairie is out here, and as you know, I love prairie and write about prairie. And also just amazing, threatened wildlife. This is a refuge for all of them. So that's the first thing that's very special to me about the Loess Hills. And but also I think, I always think in terms of metaphors as a writer. So as a metaphor, you can't get much better than the Loess Hills, because I think they kind of capture, embody some of the things that Iowans value. They're a landform that has endured a great deal of hostility over the years, right? They were born out of the glaciers and these hurricane windstorms that piled them up on the side of the ancient river. And I know Iowans, are like that as well. They're hardworking, they endure, they gone through a lot of hardships over the years to settle this place. But also things like community that we value. It's a really rich ecosystem, and ecosystems are all about relationships, and they're a great model for the way people too can bond to one another in a very healthy way. Other things like faith, all the people that are working on these hills to try to restore them. That's a centuries-long project, so they're working on, dedicated to restoring a place that they won't see in their lifetime. That's an amazing act of faith. And also hope. There are landowners like you and others here who have come to appreciate the native beauty of this land and are dedicating themselves, not just in the abstract, but with their treasure and their gifts and their art to try to protect this land. So I think it brings together a lot of things that Iowans and Midwesterners in general value.
Right, so the Loess Hills, we love the Loess.